Welcome back to In Your Defense. I'm Attorney Steve Toland. Today we're going to spend a little more time talking about three basic constitutional rights that are impacted negatively as a result of the pandemic, and some things you can do to mitigate some of those problems. The first constitutional right that's impacted in light of the pandemic is this public doctrine of public courts. It's one of our bedrock principles that your hearing should be held in public, any matter before the judge. And so in light of the pandemic, obviously this is a major problem. What we're seeing now in my appearances in federal and state court is that judges are now starting to live stream through audio. They're trying to some courts have their own YouTube channel. And then of course we're dealing with the issue of people sort of hacking into those that otherwise wouldn't have access to the public courts. So in large part, judges are working pretty hard to combat this, but that's the first doctrine that can really be impacted is this right to having it be a public proceeding. The second constitutional right that is really impacted here in light of the pandemic is this concept of a speedy trial. So one of your Sixth Amendment rights, in addition to it being a public proceeding, is that you have a right to have a speedy trial. In Texas, that's generally held to be 8 months as a minimum, provided your attorney files a speedy trial motion and consistently maintains your position that you would like to proceed forward with trial. Now, this executive order or any gubernatorial orders, those have all stopped the running of the speedy trial clock. And so you need an experienced attorney to get back in there and reassert those rights, even though the judge is somewhat powerless because of the executive orders related to the pandemic. But that is undoubtedly affecting God knows how many of our clients as they seek to move forward and get these matters disposed of. The third constitutional right that's really impacted as a result of the pandemic is your other Sixth Amendment right to the confrontation. In other words, the right to confront and cross-examine those who have evidence against you, right? That's a fundamental principle that we have as trial lawyers. And that's the one that's probably impacted the most or will be moving forward. The question obviously is going to be, can you have witnesses testify against you and have those witnesses appear virtually? There, for the most part, have been very tight restrictions, and only under the narrowest exceptions are witnesses allowed to appear outside the live proceedings of the courtroom. So those are the three basic constitutional rights that are negatively impacted. And the way you can address those really is now more than ever, humbly I assert this of course, but you really need an experienced trial lawyer. You need someone who knows judges and knows prosecutors and knows how to get in there and assert these rights in an effective way for you. And in a respectful way. We're all dealing with the same pandemic, but at the same time, your constitutional rights matter. So you need an attorney to fight for you. So as always, I encourage you, if you have any questions about this or are facing criminal charges or an investigation, particularly now in light of the pandemic, reach out to me, Attorney Steve Toland, or us here at Pekin Toland. We're always glad to help.